Hello everyone. To begin with, we will talk about a serious subject which concerns the whole world, and that is the global climate. Currently, there are still no radical solutions to put an end to climate change on our planet, but I think that researchers remain hopeful on this subject, and it is true that everyone can make a gesture in their own way and in his abilities. In this new format with follow-up by episode, I will give my opinion with special or surprise guests on climate issues and in video format. The choice of guests will not be random, but I would like to point out that awareness of planetary issues is important, and it is all the more normal to talk about them to the general public. Anything that impacts the planet in its natural order can cause irreversible consequences. It is essential to solve all the problems, but the most difficult thing is to transmit a responsible conscience in human beings and all future generations. Moreover, we currently live in a dystopian world because of bad decisions. Almost no one knows true happiness, and almost no one can define true happiness. People who have power shouldn't have power, you heard me right. Power requires great wisdom, and this is not the representation of our current world. Living together, innovating together, the universal human solidarity, the maintaining universal peace. Where are we in the world today? Politics is like an automatism of lying, it is vulgar lie. I've never been interested in politics, and that won't change, and I know differentiate right from wrong very well. This is partly for this reason that the royalty of the ancient past did not give great privilege to everyone, because honor and truth were a precious virtue, and these values were the sky and the soil of the world. The king was often surrounded by competent subjects. Over time, privileges have become social statuses of contempt and jealousy. Our time today is not very different from the end of the honorable and very ancient past of the West. We live in the continuity of this end of values and human division. The ingratitude of the past results in the repetition of bad behavior and the destruction of all sacred values. We live in total indifference on a daily basis and in social contempt. This is an ugly and unimaginable reality. In the West and currently, we have a way of life that is close to death or the end of life because of all the natural insufficiencies that degrade human life and all forms of life. The very ancient West had a sacred character that was defined by human virtue and goodness. Over time too, the ancient biblical stories have been modified many times in the ancient past and before the birth of all of us who live in this era. The ancient biblical writings of the West have been changed and removed. The Church has largely censored human thought of ancient world, and this explains the almost total illogic of the Bible. The Roman Empire achieved redemption through belief, but with a moral dictatorship similar to the warrior spirit of the Roman Empire. The pinnacle of Western spirituality became the warrior church of ancient Rome, the ancient empire of war that retained its authoritarian spirit. Undeniably, the summit of Western spirituality is the ancient Rome of Julius Caesar. There is nothing that contradicts my explanations, since these are taboo historical facts before the general public, and it is shameful. The story concerns everyone. Not everyone who has kept the traditions has that voice to speak the truth. This is disappointing and selfish. Some cultures disappear just like the past of a civilization. The world ignores its own history, and lies accompany history. Despite everything, the birth of Western belief began with beautiful and noble feelings towards human beings. Western women from very ancient times had more resistant bodies and longer fertility, since they were able to give birth until the age of 50. Men were physically stronger than today, and in old age they were in perfect health. Today the sea around the world is half polluted, it is no longer the pure sea of yesteryear. The vast expanse of water on our planet is polluted due to leaking oil of boat engine and the release of toxic substances into the sea. Almost everyone eats polluted fish today. Every day there are smells of gasoline of cars in the streets, and everyone has toxic carbon in their lungs. I would like to point out this, but I have a little sister who has been asthmatic since a young age. She is a case of illness among all others in the cruelty of our reality, and asthma is a fairly modern disease. It is normal for everyone to be worried about having children in an environment loaded with carbon in oxygen and in the sea. There is no longer any certainty regarding the environment and health. Nobody controls air quality. Everything that is happening now should not exist. I don't call it progress, I call it the end of generational life. I'm firmly opposed to this destructive progress and murderer which causes the end of life and the precariousness of human health. I really think that the essential elements of life must find their place again. It's common sense. Obviously, I don't want to go back to the past, but the current regime which replaced the old is not better. There is no evolutionary direction nor future perspective to long term. Normally, I ignore everything I don't like because I like to devote my energy to the constructive elements of life, and if I have to put up with what I don't like, then I put up with it without emotions. I'm like that. Hatred is a poison that makes you stupid and irritable. Dark feelings are pointless and they make everyday life unpleasant. Life is a gift, not a choice. Finally, the climate is one of my subjects little offered. This will be all. Thank you.